Math
Home
is a
run, baby.
verification.
But it is defined a certain way anyway, so it's by definition. Reification is a definition that's already built in there. But I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Hang on.
Wow, dude.
Hang on.
Yeah, attack
Sorry.
the premise.
Sorry,
Dude.
witsit.
That's pathetic.
How is 360 perfect if 360 is just a made-up conception of math?
My point is just that
That's
360 makes, that's how many degrees is in a circle.
You
Oh my
can make it.
goodness.
I can
yeah,
say,
I've
I can
seen
say
that.
there's 159 degrees in a circle.
Hold on.
It doesn't fucking
Hold on.
matter. It's
Hold
just
on,
true
Witsit,
by
you're right.
default.
All I'm
Witsit.
saying
They're
is
trying
it's
to
all
make it a
very
circle.
simple. There's 12 months of 30 days exactly in each month. 30
And they're trying
days.
to-
It's not
they're trying to make
31
it a circle.
days, 30
Right.
days, 28 days. It's none of this bullshit from the Gregorian calendar. It's 12 months of 30 days. That's 360. Then
How
you add
many
4
days?
to
The
What
that.
reason they've changed it. Let me say something. Look, let me say this. The reason they've changed it, right? The reason they changed it. Hold on. The reason they've changed it, they've changed it to 360 as a circle. Yeah. They're
Why?
trying to make a circle.
How many fucking days / degrees are in this circle?
They've changed it. They've
Says
changed
to
it.
you, Wits.
Oh, I'm just saying that the actual months with the days is 360. Then you have 4 additional days per year, 2 equinoxes,
Why
2
not make it
solstices.
1080?
How many remainder degrees are there in a circle?
Okay. I'm not even making very definitive claims. You people were just clowns. My point is, make sure you keep interrupting me, Curve, so you can pretend that you can tout victory because you're an idiot. Make sure you interrupt me too. Well, I wonder why I deleted this server. Oh my god, I can't imagine.
You didn't delete it.
If you can't hear me, I'm sorry. I'm also asking you
no, we
to
can
let
hear
me
you, Twit.
finish. Okay. That's all. I haven't been able to understand what you're saying. They've been talking about it. I didn't hear it for myself, and I'm trying to catch on right now.
The calendar that everyone uses is wrong for numerous reasons. Falsification is actually independent of replacements, but I do know a step in the right direction as opposed to what is provably wrong. The entire room wants to skate past what my actual argument is that it's provably wrong. Ignore that it's been falsified, then just start to critique anything that I start to say about a more accurate quantification, like a bunch of clown shows.
What happens is that
you now accept that
I'll
this
take
is
some of the blame for that because I interrupted you when you said the 360 thing.
the problem is that you made 10 positive claims that are wrong, so it's hard to address each one.
Gosh, you guys. Come
so
on.
percent. You then must acknowledge now that he said that it was a concrete thing.
What?
When they changed it,
When did I say that?
What was the reason that they changed the calendar? Was there a reason given?
Yeah, the Romans changed everything. So they were changing it based on their little deified
Because
ideas.
they didn't
That's what
know solar day was
And
took
the
longer
year-
than a sidereal day. They
the
didn't
year
fucking
used
know
to-
that.
Hang on.
You don't know what you're talking
Hang
about.
on. The Romans didn't change the fucking calendar. The Catholic fucking Church did.
Oh, so it wasn't the Roman
The Roman
Catholic Church?
Catholics?
What an idiot.
The Roman Catholics?
When you say the Roman, that
Did
doesn't
it
apply to the
Roman
Catholic Church.
Catholic?
Yes, it was. It was
Didn't-
officially the Roman Catholic
Well,
Church.
what about
the Holy
It was the Roman Catholic Empire.
But no, but he
Holy
was
Roman
saying
Empire.
the Romans, as in like back in fucking Julius Caesar times.
Oh,
was
that's what I was
changing it,
saying.
didn't you?
That's what I was saying.
Right, when
No,
you say
the
the
Roman.
Roman,
The Romans, like the Jews, and before Christ.
Oh no, who did all the grabbling? The Roman Catholic Church did all the grabbling, and they grabbled it based on deified ideas, such as, for example, when the year really started, which everyone knew forever, by the way. At the beginning of the year, where spring starts and life starts every year, because that's the beginning of the year. They called that area March, that time of year March. That's based on God of Mars,
Okay,
the
what's it?
God of War.
Alright,
That's when they would typically go to war.
Hold up. Another one of the claims they said was that you think the calendar is concrete and it has a concrete beginning. Is this true?
he just said it starts in spring. We're
Wow.
wrong.
Can you let him finish?
Spring, however, is
No, I mean, a calendar can start in spring. That doesn't mean the calendar has a concrete because calendars
That's what
are.
Listen,
that it
he was
does.
explaining why it changed.
in spring.
And it starts based on the moon every year. It's just within the period of what's called the third month, which again is because they call that March based on the god of Mars, the god of war, where they would typically, back in the day, traditionally go to war around this
Yeah.
time.
Okay. So
In
for the
fact, they were
record, do
very
you
irresponsible
think-
at keeping up with time back in the day. Sometimes they would only keep up with it when they went to war.
All right, but for the record, do you think calendars are concrete things?
No.
All right.
Clearly, they're not.
It's a construct of quantification of the sky.
No, wait.
Someone else said that's what you tried to say. Someone putting words in your mouth earlier. And
Well,
someone
yeah,
said
that's what they have to
you
do.
said.
Is drum in.
No,
You've
no,
all
no.
Because
got it
nobody can hear
fucking
him.
wrong.
Yeah,
Wait,
they're all getting proven wrong right now. Spiral.
Well, when you say it's
I
wrong,
think what they was that calendars have definite beginning.
God damn
But
it.
they were just using the wrong word and saying concrete beginning when they meant.
Well, what I'm saying, no, it's based on.
Are you saying that the Julian calendar is better than the Gregorian?
I think they're both trash and kick rocks.
So which calendar system do you think's got it the closest then?
Right.
Enochian calendar. But a lot of people misrepresent what that actually is. But yeah,
Tell me about that one.
it's
lunar
where it
calendar.
says there are 12. It's the lunar and solar cycle.
Mhm.
It's not
So
just the
13
lunar
months.
calendar. It's not 13 months. That's the Jewish calendar, and some people call the Enoch calendar that with the misinterpretation using the lunar cycle alone. But it's 12 months of 30 days, and then you have 4 days additional to that a year, the 2 equinoxes and the 2 solstices, and then there's a leap week inserted every 5 years. And the people that held this calendar back in the day, they also had the manuscripts with it, knowing when that was. And then there's feasts that are supposed to be observed based on the cyclical nature of the sky.
All right,
so
real quick. Potato chair guy, you've been fucking debunked.
No, not at all. You asked the wrong question.
So when does the first the year start with the Enoch calendar?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know to make a definitive claim about that because it's
Okay.
been since it's been so grabbled and it's just now getting to where we're even kind of putting the pieces together. We have to figure out where we need to start it. That's when you will know how to apply the leap week, which is based on the king taking an additional week.
Man, these Globers just got debunked hard, man.
When you ask the wrong
It's based on
question,
the king
You
saying
said-
all talking shit when he weren't here.
the king
Alright.
matters as
Hang
far
on.
as the fucking
King
position.
Hang on.
King Witsit's here now, and all of you are changing tone.
Excuse me.
You're
No
all
one
changing tone of voice.
Hang on.
Can you?
Excuse me.
Calm down.
Strawman fallacies everywhere.
I've got a bit of a problem because the Enochian calendar isn't just 30 days; it's 30 and 31 days in a month.
Druss also failed.
I just said including. I'm not representing misrepresentations of people that claim the Enoch calendar. I explained what it really was.
I no, you claim what your opinion of it is, and if you're going to say what it actually is, then provide your
Yeah.
thoughts.
Okay, it's
So
actually
what-
coded in the
what was the
genealogy of
date?
Genesis.
Don't say that I'm wrong and you know you're right without fucking providing
Wow.
a source.
You just said something about 31 days, and that isn't in any way what the original Enoch calendar was.
Pseudepigraphal book Enoch.
The pseudepigraphical, and no, that's just what people say to try to discredit. That's what people try to say to discredit
13
it.
weeks would end with a 1 in it, wouldn't it?
It's not
So how are you
pseudepigraphical.
going to divide it up into 2 30 days?
Okay, it's not pseudepigraphical, and the accurate way to actually use accurate way to actually use it is 12 months, 30 days. So, for example, the Jewish calendar is a little bit more accurate because they actually know about the feasts, which you're supposed to observe the feast based on the sky. The Jewish people actually know about that, but they still have 13 months in their calendar, have to fluctuate and change it on the fly, and their timing's off. So there you go. No one has a perfect calendar. I'm not even claiming to have the perfect fix for the calendar because I don't know the year to start it on.
So Druss don't try and get him in a trap again.
Everyone, shut up. Guys, can I get the question out of for 30 minutes? Please. For fuck's sake. And please get the question out that I've been trying to ask for 30 minutes.
One on one then, still one on one. Don't let everyone no one else join in, and we'll go get somewhere. If everyone jumps in and everyone keeps asking questions, we won't get no one's question ever get answered.
Someone mute Brumi, please. Thank you.
No, I can
so, Witsit, the question I have is there a definitive start to the year?
You already answered that.
Just ask that.
I just said it's based on the moon.
So we
Is
can't.
there a definitive start to the year?
It's based on the moon after the 12 months comes back around.
No. He asked you if there was a definitive start. What the fuck are you talking
No,
about?
because it's based on the sky.
Hang on. He asked you a question. The answer to the question is yes or no.
And he said no. He said no. He said no.
What's
What's
wrong
wrong
to say no?
He said no because, and then explained it.
Right. Stop. You've made your point. What's wrong with you?
No, and then he gave a definitive
Spiraling,
starting point.
dude.
That's
It's
the funny part
spiraling.
about it.
Yeah, but spiral.
No, Witsit, you're.
God, you
Witsit's
guys
almost
don't
being
even
funny.
want to
5
hear a
months is
word he
73
says.
days.
What is the point of him even being here?
Bullshit.
Just let
You
him
asked
talk.
a
Only
simple
want to
question, you
hear
don't
what
have
he
to fucking
says,
answer.
Wit, so you can calm down a little too.
No,
There's
because
a lot of people
you know how
talking, and Witsit's
frustrating
not
it is?
helping.
He won't even
Witsit's
just, he's
not
not even
helping,
allowed to
Twit.
talk.
Witsit is not helping. He's evasive. Do you understand that? Pay attention to him.
He said no, though. He answered you straight and said no. That's a lie.
Enough out of you, Brummy.
All right, let's
Brummy,
move it on.
Brummy,
Let's move it on. Does anyone else?
Can
have a
everyone in
question?
here at least admit that the calendar that we use, and it says December, which Dece means 10, and it says it's the 12th month of the year, ends the year wrong. That's not the beginning of the year.
Because what you're trying to do is base the year on prefixes. No one does that.
Okay, so y'all think the Gregorian calendar
We
is
had
legit?
10 months during the year, so that was from another calendar system. You have all these calendar systems mixing.
Unbelievable.
I know, but
can't
they
hear
moved
anything.
back the.
When is the definitive start to the year and why?
I never claimed there was a definitive start.
Our calendar is
He
January.
said because of the month. He said the moon. I heard him say the moon after the 12 months, right? And it's based on the sky.
the
Basically, that
spring.
is the clock that we should go by
Yeah.
after the 12 months.
You have
And
to
the
know
12
when to
months obviously ends
start
in
it.
February.
You have to know when to start it to
Get a word in
even.
edgeways when I can.
So-
If I may.
Okay, so Druck should be next. Druck should be next after this. But check this out. He said there's no definitive start, but then he gave a definitive description of the start. Your turn, Druss.
The problem
No,
I've
I
been looking-
didn't.
Sorry, do you want to respond
Straw
to
man.
that? Witsit?
I said you have to know when to start it, and I don't know when to start it.
Cool.
Make
Okay,
a
so I've
definitive.
just-
You gave a
I'd
description.
really like to go next if I may.
Yeah, it's because you demanded an answer, so we give you a very an estimate of where it would be or where he would put it.
Just get my word in.
Yep.
Yep. Sorry.
Thanks. So I've just been looking into the Enochian calendar. I thought I was pretty on ball. So the way that it generally works is 4 seasons of 13 weeks split into 2 30-day months, 1 31-day month, and then there's a sabbatical year where they add an extra week in to then get rid of the one day that they lose every year, because it's a
Sounds like-
364-day calendar.
Sounds like you've really been knocking yourself out.
I have.
Good. That's
Why
in the
why-
right. That's in the right direction. A lot of people that claim the Enoch calendar, they just address the lunar cycle. In fact, what's real wild about it, I know that this room. Yeah, you're good. I know what's not gonna sit well in this room is, in fact, in Genesis itself, the very timelines of the course of 5 generations is the very Enoch calendar. Also, it has the lunar and solar cycle embedded in the very years that they lived, representing days. And so the Enochian calendar, which is supposed to be encoded and understood with the manuscripts that were with it and people used thousands of years ago, you actually know when to start it. You know that it's based on feasts and they go with the sky, and then you can interpret what's going on in the sky. And this is encoded in the genealogies of the first biblical characters themselves.
That's a reification fallacy right there.
I just said,
Let's just drop the reification.
hey, I'm
Ultimately,
just telling
though,
you.
ultimately,
I'm not
what-
claiming I can bottle that up and prove it to you, dude.
What does it provide you with other than a label for each day?
Well, we're just getting a better understanding of the sky because, we've been lied to about it, and we use a
but
calendar that's
how-
completely wrong, and they tell us everything that's in the sky is millions of light years away, and so we're going to
Holy
figure out what's
fuck,
really
dude.
going
How
on.
is that changed? How is that changed by using a different calendar? Because as
Well,
far
for
as,
one, we're going to
hang
start
on, hang on. As I understand it, a calendar for me is just a labeling system for days in the past and in the future. It's just
This is correct.
It's a way for us to reference the period of time that we call a day.
Yeah, human construct. Yeah.
So why does it matter which calendar
It
you
matters
use?
because we need to actually know and keep an eye on the sky, because the sky is actually for signs and wonders and is just overlooked by the quote unquote masses. But if we are living in some important times or whatever, the sky has signs in it, and so we need to actually accurately keep up with it. We're also supposed to also know about the feasts that exist, not all the flipping and inversion of them in the holy days, but the feasts themselves aligned with the sky to interpret the signs of the sky. So that's why I would say it's important. I know it's not going to be a satisfactory answer to most.
Well, not really.
Yeah,
I
it
don't,
sounds like
I
a
don't see
reification
how
fallacy
that's.
to me.
I don't see how. I don't see how a particular calendar changes that. I just think It's just a referencing system for days. And
Sure,
whichever
the
one
calendar
you-
itself is just
Hang on,
conceptual.
hang on. Whichever one you use, as long as you know the person you're talking to, if you like, or whatever it may be, communicating with, as long as they're using the same system, then it's as meaningful whatever calendar you use, surely.
No, but again, this isn't going to be a satisfactory answer. But based on the feast, there's a spiritual importance to each feast, a spiritual principle that's represented by each feast when you take them and when you observe them. Right, it's based on these principalities, and so when things happen in conjunction with these feasts in the sky, right, then you understand the spiritual principality that's giving you a sign in the sky. And we've had crazy signs in the sky this year, for example,
God,
but no
you
one knows
sound
about
like
the feast or the
dumbest
right calendar.
Fucking hippie that I've ever fucking heard.
Well, keep in mind that God has a timepiece on his right hand. It's a Rolex. And by his time and his calendar, that's where the prophecies would tend to be fulfilled. So if you're trying to look for the prophecies and you've got the wrong calendar, the wrong time, the wrong seasons, it could be a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, now for those of you that love the pagan holidays and love saying shout outs to Roman mythos, you basically, when you say the days of the week and when you say the months of the year, you're just saying Roman mythos. That's what you're doing. And I mean, that's cool if you want to do it. I don't care, bro. It's a free world. I'm allowed to call it out and be like, okay, I'm tired of screaming and regurgitating Roman Catholic bullshit manipulation
Roman
of
Catholic bullshit, is it? It's
well, it stems all the way back to the Romans.
You're saying, look at the sky, right? And it sounds like when you're talking about the feasts and like the things going on in the sky, it sounds like you're talking about like signs in the stars or the constellations. But for the Gregorian and the Julian calendar, we are looking at the sky. We're just looking at the sun because it's a solar calendar as opposed to a sidereal. Like it's going by solar days.
Yeah, but there's a calendar that accounts for both of them, bro. God, it's not even.
So you're saying like instead of just using the word sky, you're saying look at a calendar that's also looking at the stars as well, the constellations as well. Am I understanding
what I'm saying is they gave it to you as if it's real confusing, like it's just this random off number, right? In all actuality, there's 4 times a year, right, where we have 2 solstices and 2 equinoxes, and based on the movement of the sun, right, we have these 4 days each year. What's left? 12 months of exactly 30 days. Nothing's confusing. Design isn't confusing. The quantification of what's in the sky shouldn't be either because it's perfectly designed. And then we have to quantify it, understand that the sky has a cycle and that there's a week that's added every 5 years. This is laid out with the manuscript that interprets the actual calendar. So we can accept it, not accept it, act like we should still just pretend it's this real confusing off number, but it isn't.
No,
And so
if you have to add a week every 5 years to make up for something that's missing, then it's not perfect.
Oh, hold up. So you can definitely.
I'm not claiming it's perfect, bro.
You did say earlier.
You just said it's perfect.
Then I misspoke.
Real quick, how does that speak to, you said that it's somehow promoting or, it speaks to their agenda, the heliocentric kind of like narrative of these things being millions of miles away and all that stuff. But
it just ties in general because I'm saying people don't understand anything about the sky. Like they don't even understand its patterns or its cycles. Much less like the true nature of what's in the sky, but yet all the humans, like example, most of this room, they think they know all about the sky though, but they don't know at all about
the anomalies that we see in the sky to a degree of accuracy, which is crazy. With your calendar, can you predict things that will happen in the sky?
Oh yeah, you mean like the eclipses?
Just everything. The way that the way that we can predict it now in mainstream science.
Dude, mainstream uses the Cero cycle to this day.
Let's ask Richard a question, and then let's all jump in like Josh is doing right now. Let's all do that because that's how conversations happen, in it, Josh?
It would be helpful if chemo weren't vendetta modding.
Cero cycle doesn't give you the location. It doesn't give you the time.
I'm sorry, but you keep wanting to trash people's points by bringing up fucking things just to discredit it, rather than trying to understand it, and then you're jumping in on people when they're trying to respond to a question. So I'm calling it out. I'm sorry if you're not behaving correctly for a debate, and I'm not no fucking superiority or anything like that, but I'm calling out your bullshit.
Oh, shut the fuck up, bro.
That's a lot of bullshit, Brummy.
Hey, y'all
Thank you very
start the year at the wrong time, dude. Can y'all at least admit that maybe that's weird?
How do we know what the right time is?
Because it's always been known to be at the right time, and the year begins when all the life on Earth
How do we
begins.
know?
It's in the spring.
The definitive time for the start of the year again, but he doesn't know it, so therefore
The
it's not
calendar's
definitive.
been the same since the beginning. It's going to be the same. It got grappled.
Very quickly, Witzik, if I may.
Since the beginning of what?
Can I make a point?
The calendar's been the same
Can I
since
make
the
a point,
beginning
please?
of what?
Can I please make a point? Thank you. So all I wanted to say is, one, the days of the week you're using in English are fucking from Norse paganism. So what the fuck are you talking about there with Catholic Church? Two, the Book of Enoch was written down
I said
in the 2nd
Roman.
century, is the 2nd century BCE. So what the fuck are you talking about there? Neither of which are the Romans.
Let him finish. Two questions there is to answer.
Oh, you're saying the calendar, the names that we say when it comes to the days of the week and the months of the year have nothing to do with Roman beliefs?
I didn't say the months, did I, Witzik? Listen.
That's what I said earlier, though, that you're supposedly critiquing right now. So what you're doing is straw manning half of my claim.
Trust, it's not your turn to talk, really, is it?
That's all y'all can do. It's just misrepresent what I actually said. That's all you can do. I think half the time it's unintentional. I think you're just that desperate for me to be wrong. The days, okay, the days track back very, very far. Yeah, okay, and they were still integrated with the Roman Catholic. No, I said the Roman Catholics are the ones that have given us like the more evolved version that turned into what we have today. Okay, but the what Catholics? The Romans. Okay, they supposedly absorbed Christianity, absorbing it into Roman polytheism, and so that they could integrate everyone under a monolith of ideology. We should all know that.
Wow.
The point is, when you say the months, the Roman mythos. Y'all are just running around screaming Roman mythos. Y'all sound like losers to me. So whatever.
And it's the same way that the church has adopted practices from pretty much every region of the world.
I've got a question for you, Dross.
Christianity, including things like Santa Maria and out in the Caribbean, which comes from African practices. You also have the Celtic Church, which
but the Catholics are actual Christians. That's Luciferianism.
Let me ask Dross a question. Let me ask Dross, please give me attention. You did bring up the rebuttal. What's it to do with the Romans? He then brought up 2 points why he said it's to do with the Romans. Do you concede that you was wrong to do that?
No, because I was absolutely on point on the point that I actually made.
So do you not think that
the days of the week we do not get from the Romans, and it's nothing to
So you don't think the two Roman names of the months? You don't think the Roman names of the months are any indication that maybe it was made by Romans?
No, I didn't make that claim.
Roman, you can't interrupt him if you want to know what he's trying to say.
But that's what I had said. I said the months. I said the weeks and I said the days of the weeks and the months. So whatever.
I told you up on the days of the week, which are Norse pagan.
Okay, yes, the days of the week go way back. Sunday, sun worship, way back. So yeah, we get it. Cool. What is Monday? Moon day. Okay. The months that we use, which are again off, are back to Roman mythos. I don't remember.
What's Wednesday?
I don't remember them off the top of my head in order, bro. Actually, when you get beyond Sunday and Monday, there's a whole bunch of different ones for each day.
Does anybody care about the actual?
Seems like you should know that. Not really.
Mars Day, Mercredi, Mercury Day.
There's a lot of different. After Monday, there's like 4 or 5 at least of each one.
You have like 5 more.
But they all agreed on the sun and the moon days.
Tuesday would be 3, isn't it? Tree? Like, I don't know. As a guess. I'm just making shit up. But at the end of the day, Dross, you need to concede that there is relationships to Romans.
It's pretty funny that people claim they hate the Roman Catholic Church, but they're just adamantly defending the calendar. Oh my God, calm down. I'm just saying, people that hate the Roman.
You asked me a question.
Okay.
You didn't give me a chance to reply.
People that hate the Roman Catholic Church, they're actually defending a calendar that they've put together and has led to what we use now. And it tracks back to, with the months, Roman mythos, and even with the days and everything that was integrated into their Roman polytheism that was then absorbed into quote-unquote Catholicism or quote-unquote Christianity.
Something wrong with polytheism.
No, I'm just saying that that's where this all came from. So, okay, so you can't really, in one hand, say I'm super critical of the Roman Catholic Church. It does so much to ruin society. We can't trust them, and then blindly trust everything they gave you.
Why are you so obsessed with this non-even number of days in the year? I don't understand what your problem.
What are you talking about? I'm so obsessed with something, bro. The calendar we use right now.
He was asked to show relationships between the Romans. He was asked to show relationships with the Roman Catholic. Yeah, give you the relationships. So you're all denying it. Now you're criticising him for mentioning what you've asked him to tell about. What's wrong with you?
Who's denied it? No,
Well, you're just trying to skew it in a way that you can, like, special boy jump in and tell us what you know or whatever. But you don't ever argue my point, though. Unfortunately,
How is the current calendar wrong?
it doesn't even start the year right. It has 31 days, 30 days, 31 days, 30 days,
Right,
28
how's it wrong?
days.
28 days. 28 days.
Shit, with chemo and modding tonight, I'm gonna fuck off.
And the calendar alone doesn't even integrate the lunar cycle.
Another
thing a flat Earth guy can't understand.
Oh, I can't understand it. All I'm saying is that the calendar has been manipulated, and they changed the beginning of the year and everything. So you can accept it, or you can stick your head in the sand. No one cares.
Spring sounds like a really good time to start the year because it is the start of life. You know what I mean? Then summer, you know what I mean? Then autumn, things die down, then you get into things over, and then the world starts again. It's perfect, and it's honestly, just give me fucking talk without interruption. Just let me talk without interruptions. I don't give a shit. Right? The guy's making good points.
Interruption without repeating things you've been saying.
The guy has made some good points, right? And the rebuttals that were made, there was no relationships. He showed you the relationships, then you're saying he's obsessed with the Romans.
Dude, we can't even give rebuttals in, Brummy.
Sorry.
About the days of the week, so I was looking into this in English, and it's actually striking the invasiveness of Norse culture, I guess it is. So for Monday, it's from the Old English word Monendag, meaning day of the moon. Tuesday is Tuesdag, meaning Tears Day, which is a Norse god of combat. In French, it's and Spanish, it's god of the day of Mars. For Wednesday, it's Woden's Day, which is Woden is day of Woden or Odin. Thursday, Thor's Day. So it's actually like I had no idea that there's this much kind of Norse influence on.
I'm glad you learned something.
Yep, indeed. Isn't that wild? It's just
right now.
It's crazy,
this is why I wanted to get it back to the original point about accuracy and correctness. But they don't want to talk about that.
That's what my whole premise is. It looks like Curve is paying attention today. My whole point is your calendar lacks those things.
Okay, I have the same question for you today that you avoided all day yesterday.
Oh, you're going to change the subject? What?
It's necessary, though. We've run that try, and it's run its course.
Go ahead. What's your question, Curve? What's your question?
Can I ask a question?
Dare accuse me of changing the subject.
What is your question, man?
Accurate to what?
What kind of question is that?
Accuracy, fidelity to what?
As with specificity.
Why, Brummy? Why?
Sorry, man.
Accuracy to what?
Accuracy with fidelity to what, sir?
All right, let me ask it this way. I think this is what you're asking, Kurt. Does summer remain fixed in the Gregorian calendar, or does it move around?
Well, you mean as in the application of heliocentric?
No, as in when winter and spring and all that shit fall, when the stars are at different locations in the sky. Does the Gregorian calendar hold stable to that, or is it just stable to the moon?
Maybe it wouldn't move around if it was right.
That. What are you talking about?
Maybe it wouldn't move around if it was the right calendar.
Well, no, if you're using the moon calendar.
I'm asking him about his purported superior calendar.
Oh, no, it uses the solar cycle. It accounts for the solar and lunar cycles.
Right, you keep saying that.
Yeah, apparently you don't get it.
But not stellar or seasonal.
Take.
You want me to send you a PDF so y'all can see the calendar?
I'm trying to explain it to you because you keep saying you don't get it, apparently, and that's why you're not answering my question.
Wow.
So you're gonna let me tell you what the question is?
You said accuracy to what? Yeah, that's a dumb question. How about you ask one like an adult?
Yeah, accuracy to what? Accuracy with regard to fidelity to what? What are you trying to remain true to? Accurate to? Keep time with accurately. How are you using?
For one, once again, the accurate beginning of the new year.
What is the accurate beginning of new year? What
the beginning of life every year, around when all life begins every year.
So spring.
How is that accurate?
It's just a part that I think we should at least be accurate about. I mean, we're clearly inaccurate about it.
So it's your opinion then?
Well, no, your opinion, I guess, is that we should just blindly believe the Roman Catholic Church's little fucking calendar they made for you. I mean, whatever.
There's a natural start to the year that should be adhered to.
I think that, yes, that's correct. I think that we use the inaccurate calendar. The proper one accounts for the year. That is because I'm just saying I think that the way that the years are quantified in the Gregorian calendar are inaccurate. The proper one,
opinion, bro. That's great. This is a wonderful conversation.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
I did this shit.
Okay, yeah. Sorry that you're defending your calendar. That's wrong. Yeah, I'm sorry you're devoted to your Norse.
Dude, are you not happy with the week has 7 days? You think we should have 8?
No, there are 7 days. Yeah, there are 7 days. You're devoted to your Norse and Roman mythos. Y'all are actually religious. That was the whole point. That's the whole point I'm trying to drive home here. Y'all are actually religious, but unbeknownst to your own selves.
Religion is worship of supernatural.
Hold on. Can I just point something out? That I think needs to be pointing out? One, Witsit, you're mocking people because of the calendar that they use, which seems a very, very odd reason to mock people. And second,
I'm not mocking them.
You are.
Yes, you
are. And secondly, this calendar is used by you. It's been used by you tens of thousands of times.
Yes.
And it will continue to be used by you tens of thousands of times.
I'm not mocking people because they don't use the calendar I use or something, bro.
The last thing I heard
I'm mocking people because they are acting like they know for a fact the calendar we use right now is accurate and that I'm just crazy for challenging it. That's what I'm mocking them for.
How can a list of labels for days be inaccurate? They're the labels that we give to the days. What can be inaccurate about that?
Yeah, well, for one, it doesn't even start the year at the right time. How many times have I had to say that?
Because you said you don't know what the right time is.
It's the spring.
The start of the year.
It should start at the spring.
All that means is we would give a different label to it to the same period of time. We would just
the new year would be spring, yeah.
We would just call it a different thing. It wouldn't.
Okay, look, my whole point was
meaningless.
Listen, Jim. The whole point is that they've snuck in this religious rhetoric into all of our lives, normalized it via just what we have accepted as the constructs and way we quantify all kinds of things. And the calendar is a perfect example of that. Because even the days are, like we just pointed out, like Norse mythology predominantly as it pertains to the Western world, and then we have the calendars, which are all Roman mythos, and it all tracks back to Roman mythos, and before that, and so it's just like it's weird that our whole entire society is constructed around like all these weird religious beliefs.
No one gives a shit about that. When you
use
little
secret societies believe in, and we just use the word.
You cut him off. You should let him finish.
But again, I think I've got the point. Again, the calendar is just a list of labels for names. It doesn't have any religious power whatsoever. If you give those names, those periods of time, a different name, it wouldn't change how anybody feels about any religion.
Yeah. Well, what about it's subliminal though? It's a subliminal religion that you don't really know is actually a religion. You don't identify as a religion, but it actually is one.
Yeah, everyone is partaking submissively in their religion, even unbeknownst to themselves. I just said it was unbeknownst to everyone. I mean, I didn't even know about all this until I started researching it pretty recently. All I'm pointing out is now at least y'all have heard about it. You can choose to just say, oh, it came from Austin. He thinks the Earth's flat. He's stupid. I'm not listening to anything he says. Whatever, dude. Everyone's allowed to do what they want to do.
You're participating in their religion too.
Hang on a minute.
Exactly the same way that we are. You have to be.
Which spring are you talking about?
You can't reference any date, any period of time in history or in the future.
He did, though.
In a meaningful way without using that calendar, the same calendar we do.
But if spring is the beginning of the year.
Well, if you use a different one, no one will know what the fuck you're talking about.
Okay.
Because we all use the one we use.
You're making my point even better, though, because my whole point is we all use it unbeknownst to ourselves. It's built upon mythos.
What point did you have?
What difference does that make? What difference does the origin of the names of the words that we give to these days, how does that do anything?
Because it shows you that it's related to the Roman Catholic Church.
So what?
Hold on,
fact you're screaming.
it shows your relationship with the Roman Catholic Church, which proves Josh wrong. And secondly, the spring is the start of the year where life begins, and that's where the new year should
Spring
be.
is the start of the year.
Because it's to do with the Roman Catholic. You even got December, which he's pointed out is number 10, not shouldn't be the 12th month.
That has nothing to do with the discussion about whether or not the calendar is accurate.
Yes, it did. If you was listening to the conversation, you wouldn't say that, would you? But you obviously ain't following it.
If we go with this different calendar, if we use a different calendar and we start to give, May the 21st becomes, banana the 8th. What will that do in reality? How will that change anything?
He's just pointing out that you're subliminally following a religion without knowing it. That's all.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, just like with the globe earth. The globe earth is actually religion, and y'all freak out when I say that, and then I go down. No one here. No one.
By saying
here just hand wave dismiss. See, y'all already interrupted.
The point across. Can you shut up, bro? By saying that spring is the start of the year, you are doing a very nice example of reification fallacy.
Oh, all of a sudden this room cares about fallacies now, but you can reify concepts and say they bend and warp.
Exactly. Well, and the point being, I'm just saying the start of life. Red Gollum. Can I just reply to you? Because you did say Brummy, then say something, and I haven't had a chance to respond.
Yes, cut you off. Please reply.
No, basically, you said, what was your question?
It wasn't a question. It was a statement.
What was the statement?
Your statement was spring is the beginning of the year.
Logically, right, was going to put a beginning. Hold on, let's think about the four. A
year.
Let's think about the 4 seasons, right? Let's think about them, and then what would you say would be the most logical time to start? Winter freezes over. Spring starts, summer, the high point. Then autumn, then leaves start to die, and then everything gets froze over again. When would you say the beginning would be to you? Spring, that's common sense, bro. Common sense takes you to spring. If you don't agree with that, then that's not my fault that you're an idiot.
Which country do we take these measurements in, Brummy? Which country do we?
That's a good rebuttal. That's a very good rebuttal because spring isn't spring for everybody. So I agree with that.
We should all have our own spring, depending on our latitude, right, or longitude. We'll all have our own different calendar based on this.
Well, the clocks change anyway wherever you go.
Because apparently there's some massive advantage if we say that, February is the start of the year.
I got your point,
rather than January.
I got your point, Jim.
That'll change everything. All of reality will be different because people will stop subliminally worshipping. I'd love to know how you subliminally worship something.
There's 2 things. Hold on. Let me answer these 2 things. One sec, bro. One sec. There's 2 things that you said. Now, everyone can have their own dates because we have our own. People have Chinese have their own New Year and their own things anyway. So it wouldn't be. And we have different time zones when we travel around the world anyway. So if we had obviously the north and what you say, the north side is pointed towards the earth and we have the summer here and the winter there, then maybe we could all have our own sort of calendar that still is in time with each other, but just separate.
We all need our own calendar.
Secondly, I forgot I yield the mic because I can't remember his second point, and I think that was to witsit, not me anyway.
How do you worship subliminally?
Okay, here's the point. This answer is going to not be satisfactory to you if you're not spiritually open-minded at all about it, but that's why I just introduced it as a dropping the seed, so now you guys have heard of it. You can go research the efficacy of it or don'ts. But actually, the reason I think it's so important is because I believe that the sky is actually very important, and what happens in it is important. And it actually is for science. And so if we can keep up with the sky based on the line of events that happen on Earth, we may have a better understanding of what's going on and can apply some wisdom outside of just our carnal mind in this material world that we perceive. So, yeah, I think it's a big part of understanding the nature of where we live that was removed. And I think it could never be a more applicable time
How
to
is
try
that
to piece it back together.
achieved? How is that not achieved by just looking at the sky?
Because when you have you don't have. You're not looking at the prophecies in a way like the feasts themselves. The feasts themselves.
You're the one who's not happy.
Why are people talking over him? No, hold on, let him finish. No, Redrum, don't talk over him. Let him finish his point. Like
it sounds like this. has nothing to do with the actual calendar.
Because every time that witsit was interrupting someone, you didn't speak up. So stop
Yo,
trying to
can I
white
just
knight.
say-
No,
can I
I'm
just
not.
say-
Why not? He literally, Jem had something to say. Then Witsit had something to say, and then someone talked to
Three
Witsit.
people are
That's
fighting
like
on already. And you're going to come in here and try to
Whatever,
follow
that
them
part's
up? No.
speculative, man. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
Guys, everyone stop talking. It sounds like what you're doing, it doesn't really matter what the labels we give to the days are. What you're actually saying is, it's not the calendar you have a problem with. You want people to take on this set of beliefs that go with your particular calendar.
No,
I did.
No, the calendar itself is set up, and it's set up around all these different holidays. But if you actually knew when the year started, for example, and there were certain feasts that are based in line with the sky, the cyclical event of the eclipses, for example, and the spiritual principalities they represent, then you'd have a better understanding of the time of the year we were in, geopolitical events around you, stuff like that, etc. Okay, in addition that's my speculative explanation. I'm not trying to push that onto someone at all. What I'm saying is that what we use right now is derivative of like mythologies from these little occultic Gnostic beliefs. Everyone still uses them, and they celebrate the holidays that come from these same belief systems without knowing the true traditions and origins of them for the most part, and the timing's based on the calendar that's wrong. So everyone partakes in this thing, even though they don't know it. Just like everyone at a concert, they're all syncing. They have tons of frequencies that are emitting. They don't have to know if there's something embedded in what they're saying. They're all chanting the frequencies, and via cymatics, it has an effect. So it's unbeknownst. Okay. That's why I've said that 4 times, but it doesn't matter. It has.
You're unhappy with the fact.
Can you give me an example?
Calendar. Have fun with that.
Your calendar's not even right, though. You start the year.
I'll give you an example. So virtually no one likes Wednesdays, right? And virtually no one believes that Odin is king of the gods. Causation.
Take that back.
That's the stupidest thing you've ever said. You said a lot of
subliminal
stupid things.
programming or what?
Yeah, basically you fall under another power because, God's Rolex timepiece is giving us, a time frame for stuff, prophecy and stuff like that. They give you the fake calendar while they actually have the real one. They have this, prophetic power because they're looking at the real time while you're looking at the fake time. And so you start worshiping the crypto-pagan, Catholic Church. And so you're being fooled and looking for power in the wrong place with scientism, the Catholic Jesuit system and all of these frauds and pretenders.
If I thank you for those basic
well said,
things,
Lemon.
But percent, you said no one likes Wednesdays. What makes you say that?
Well said, Lemon. It's the hump day anyway. Hump day is Wednesday, the middle of the week. You got the rest of the week to go, and you're already tired and fatigued for doing the first 2 days. That's why people don't like Wednesday. Okay.
But you're halfway.
Well, for some people, Wednesday might be their day off, so they look forward to
good for them bitches. But at the end of the day, majority of people, when the hump day is the middle of the fucking day, and it's usually halfway through the fight that it gets the hardest. Thank you very much for that.
The Enochian calendar seems to have a drift of 15 days overall, right? So spring would move by 15 days over time, wouldn't it?
15 per mile drift.
I'll drop the PDF if anyone really wants to look at it. I'm not claiming.
No, I'm just asking you because you're such an authority on it. Would it have a 15
authority?
Yeah.
Also, the solving for the drift actually isn't in the original Enochian calendar inscription. It's a later addition to fix the drift.
Guys, don't take it as to be arrogant.
Are you accounting for the solar and the lunar cycle?
Talking about spring. Spring,
yeah, but is the calendar that you're using?
Spring is a fixed time. It's between what is it when the Tropic of Cancer is hit?
I wonder,
about that, but it's based upon a celestial position.
Wednesday.
Just a second, I'm trying to find the
the northern hemisphere, yeah.
I wonder if Witsit is gonna hate clocks next because he'll decide that 60 minutes is some kind of inaccurate number on a clock.
Imagine thinking that was funny.
7 minutes.
Everyone hates Wednesday because we sit smacking the whole room. That's why.
Obviously not.
There you go. There's the PDF.
An act of worship, apparently.
So you don't know the answer?
Just a history lesson. I don't know why people
Brummy worship witsit.
That was good.
All right, I'm glad I could come in
Good
here
one,
and clear
Kurt.
things up for you guys. Your calendar's wrong. Your entire interpretation of what happens in the sky is wrong.
Can
I just make my closing statement? I have to go. Can I not just make a closing
There is no
statement?
closing statement. No, you can just.
Remember, it's your calendar as well that you use all the time and will continue
Yeah, fair
to
enough.
use
You're
all
right.
the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
No, I don't think it's fair that you keep calling it our calendar that's wrong.
No, I just mean like it's yours in the sense that you're defending it to the death, like it hired you as a defense attorney or something.
Because it works worldwide to predict.
Oh my god, dude!
I've got a second calendar that works worldwide as well. Called just the same
Anyways,
thing.
so
You're subliminally worshipping alongside the rest of us with it, aren't you?
Yeah, but I think more so it's just let's get to the bottom of what's really going on in the sky. But anyway, yeah, and y'all are detached basically simply from we were all detached from the true nature of where we live and what's really going on around us. And that's just the truth, man. Like, so look into it and go from there.
Witsit, I have a question. Witsit, I have a question.
What a religion you got there.
I'm trying to brainwash you to think for yourself, Curve.
I have a question, Witsit. You said the new year starts in the springtime,
Brainwashing
right?
you to think for yourself. Wow.
You said the new year starts in the springtime, right?
Clouds are
I think they represent NASA.
All right, I dropped the PDF. Anybody want to look at the calendar? It's more accurate. Still working on figuring out all the things because it requires scripture. Look at the 5 generations that it's encoded in the lifespans in Genesis for better context. I'll catch up with y'all later. The Earth's just a stationary plane. You don't know. I'm almost done. Things move in the sky, and y'all think that we're moving and we're falling backwards at sunset. Peace out.
Peace out. That was interesting. That was interesting. Someone talked about 3-sided triangles. I think my man wanted a bit of beef, so I thought we'd wait for that to finish.
Brummy's an outlaw, right?
So next time someone that gets to talk to Witsit, ask him this question because I'm pretty sure he said that in his calendar, the new year starts in the springtime. Correct?
No, it's too late. He said it makes more sense to start in spring when life starts. You didn't listen. You didn't question when he was here.
Okay, Brahmi, would that also include Australia when springtime is at a different time of the year?
Spring for her.
Yeah, we can have our own calendars. It's not a problem. We have a different time zones anyway. Anyways, I want to answer this question to the 3-sided triangle. Someone had a problem with me. It was Mayok. And Richard's gone now. He's not here anymore. No point talking about him. We had a chance to talk to him and give me direct questions.
Oh, yeah, we can.
We answered your old questions. You was all wrong about the old questions. He answered them all.
If the world used different calendars, business wouldn't get done, travel wouldn't be viable.
You could have a correlative. You could have a second calendar that's a world one. You that one for the world. One for your own.
Brummy. You could have let him finish, Brummy.
Sorry, bro. Sorry, I do apologize. My bad.
You whine too much to behave this way, dude.
I apologize.
If you think that it's better for the world to be off track with each other, then that's extremely careless and dangerous.
Not really,
because for the world to be on track together.
The Chinese have their own New Year anyway. Hold on, Lemon. I've been addressed. The Chinese have their own New Year anyway. I don't think it's going to be that damaging for people to have. Thanks for talking about talking. Brilliant.
Let him
whoever
else
is talking,
on the Gregorian calendar.
Brummy, go ahead. Finish your point, man.
My point is quite obvious, and you know what I'm going to say before I finish it anyway, which is basically like, it's not really going to harm people to actually have a calendar from when their summers are and their winters, and to work from them as like everyone to start in spring, which is like the Americans can go down to Mexico to enjoy their summer, isn't it? But obviously, and that's like in February, and we go to enjoy our summers like around about July. So we do that anyway. So having a calendar that starts in our spring from whichever part you are in the world, it would be more accurate, because the start of life would be the most convenient one to choose.
No.
But hold up real quick. We do the same with time zones all the time. Like if there's a program on
No,
channel.
we don't. Yeah, and it causes loads of problems that we all experience. We've seen it on YouTube where a debate was arranged for a certain time and somebody got the time difference wrong. That happens all the time.
Happens anyway.
And what Brummy's saying is, we could have our own local calendar and then a main calendar or an international calendar.
That'd be more accurate. You'd have a worldwide calendar
okay,
that
but
would
if
subscribe to it, and then you'd have
if you do that, you'll be subliminally worshipping with that
problem.
calendar, won't you? So
you made a good
won't
point.
have solved your subliminal worship problem.
Okay,
Again,
I understand that, but let me just respond to what Jem said.
Real quick, let me just say.
But he actually said something directly to me, and now I'm going to forget my point by the time you finish.
But go ahead.
But he was just, I forgot it already.
Triangle.
It's something to do with a triangle.
When they say like 8 Eastern, 6 Central, it's very clear. And yeah, some people might confuse it, but those are the types of people that would also confuse, when they just say 8 Eastern alone, they might confuse it as, being 7 Eastern. That's human error. You can't just
the subliminal problem that I made a good point when you said the subliminally you're following it too, Witsit, and I think that was a very strong point in the argument. But I just think that, but I wasn't aware of that it was a Roman Catholic calendar, and that basically that December it stood for 10, and thinking about it logically, where would you start? That it's an interesting point, and these were rebuttals from people.
These things were taught to us in like 6th or 7th grade.
I'm glad that you know it's in 6th or 7th grade, mate. I'm really happy for you.
It's just a history lesson of people who dominated the world, set some rules, and then we still abide by some of those rules today. That's all it is a history lesson. If you rule the world, you can change the calendar how you'd like, just as people in the past have done the same. It's just a history lesson.
So much he's bringing about every day.
That people were denying. People were denying it came from that.
Who gets the final say? It's always getting changed, isn't it?
Oh, shut up, man. The thing is, trust was complete.
No, he said someone's changing.
Whatever. No. Shut up, man. Just let me finish. What's your problem? The fact is, trust is rebuttal.
No.
Keep talking. Fuck it. Move on. 3 sided triangles. Move on. You're not listening. Fuck it. You don't want to hear it. You was wrong. Now you're adopting it.
I'm not going to listen to you lie about what somebody else said. You fucking twit.
Just brought up.
Now you're admitting it. Oh, it's a history lesson. We knew that anyway. Even though it didn't come from there before when you first started the argument.
Brought up the days.
Don't promise me. Move on. You lost the argument.
All right, Brummy. So you wanted
days of the week.
On the 3-sided triangle, it's a pedantic piece of shit argument used by flat earthers and people who want to obfuscate. Everybody understands it's 3-sided. You can also say that it's 3 angles. You say it has 6 angles or 10 sides. It all depends on how you want to look at it.
I did spiral a bit then. It's not going to lie. No, I've never seen it. I've never seen. Oh, go. No, don't talk now, bro. Don't talk. I'm going to talk over you. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk over you when you talk to me because I don't even fucking. Yeah, of course. Let's just have a chat. Let's call it like this then. Let's forget about the question you just asked me. Let's just talk about this.
About what?
Yeah, because you want to talk when I've been asked a conversation about you interrupting my conversation. It's brilliant. Let's do it. Let's talk, man. What do you want to talk about?
We need more of this. Can we get more cowbell too?
So, yeah, I forgot your question, mate.
The 3-sided triangle, or what he said?
The 3-sided triangle. I didn't even listen to one thing he said. I'm just going to talk. If he interrupts me, I'll just waffle again, and we'll just keep doing that until people learn.
Basic premise is, or why do you argue this pedantic thing that has no bearing on the conversation just to confuse a word?
Because a long time ago, someone asked me about how many sides the triangle have. Because there was being fucking a bit of a smartass. So obviously, asking me a question, how many sides does a triangle have? I said, well, I've never seen a 3-sided triangle, and because I replied with that, it's been something that people bring up.
So when you say you haven't seen a 3-sided triangle, what pedantic trick are you trying to use when you say that?
Well, I've never seen a 3-sided triangle.
Yeah. He's counting the insides and the outsides of the line. He's calling them different sides.
Okay. Smart. So inside, outside, left side, right side, bottom side, top side, and then top and bottom.
For what? Are you trying to get the area of it or something? What do you...
No, he's just trying to be pedantic about it.
I know.
Well, people try to be smart. They don't ask me stupid questions.
So, Brummy,
that's stupid questions, get stupid answers.
No, I mean, you gave a stupid answer.
Well, he's not stupid to me. I think if you think outside the box, mate, if you think outside the box, it might not be actually so stupid after all.
Yeah, no, that's a very stupid answer. He asked you.
If you say so, to you it's a stupid answer, but to me it's not. Because you think inside the box, I think
definition aside that mistake on your part.
Sorry?
A mistake on your part for using a different definition of side than what he's intending.
You didn't like the fact that I'll give you a more accurate description
of what more accurate, it's incorrect.
Oh, it's incorrect even though it's more accurate.
It's not more accurate.
No, it's not more accurate. It's not more accurate.
Match the definition he's giving you.
Oh, so I have to. So if I don't agree, it's specific.
If you don't use the same words and the same meanings that other people do, then you have to clarify that I'm counting other things. that you're not intending.
Let's have a conversation while we talk to each other at the same time and exchange ideas. How do you think about it? Is that a really good idea then? Should we do this again? Should we talk over each other? Should we ask me a question?
You're always doing that, Brummy.
Well, that's what we're doing. We're both doing it now. We're both doing it.
Hey, Brummy, I've got
I'm
an
not
idea. Can
doing
you
it.
pull the microphone out of your mouth?
Sorry.
That's what you're doing.
Sorry.
Nothing else.
Let's start again.
Let's not.
So you feel that it's more accurate to make conversation and language more complicated. I
Let's talk to each other. Let's have a nice conversation. Talk to each other like this. Yeah, since that's what we want to do. We don't want to have a normal conversation. We want to keep interrupting me. So don't even interrupt me. Let's talk about you interrupting me. Let's talk to each other at the same time. Let's do this.
So
you made that point, okay? Please don't do it again.
So what can I do, Jim? Like they keep interrupting every time. No, so, like I said, somebody asked.
Dude.
I know. Well, people do need to stop it. I mean, I could just sit here all day going, "Stop interrupting. Let him finish." And you can all hear. You all know you're doing it. You can hear another person talking, and you start talking.
But Broomy keeps on talking. He doesn't stop. He literally doesn't stop, Jim.
Jim, you need to give like 5-minute timeouts to people who interrupt.
Xanax not the hero we need for this argument right now.
Put people in the penalty box, Jim.
Yeah, he's the hero we need. So, Brummy, a circle has 360 degrees, each with 1 degree from the center of the circle. How many triangles with 1 degree could you get out of that circle?
180. No, how many? Sorry, what was it? I thought you said how many degrees inside of a triangle with the degrees of a circle. There's 180 degrees inside of a triangle.
Triangles from the center. Hold on, 180 triangles from the center.
In each corner, there's 60. In a triangle, there's 60 degrees in each corner, isn't there? So, from each point, there's only would it be 60? Yeah, 60 degrees. You'd only get 60 out each corner.
Okay, so let's work with this. You said 180 triangles coming from the center of the circle, right?
180 triangles from the center of a circle.
No, infinite. Infinite.
Infinite amount of triangles inside a circle.
Yeah. I was asking you how many triangles you could get with 1 degree coming from the center of the circle.
Oh, how many triangles inside of a circle? Like how many times you can do that? I don't really get any.
You get 360 triangles with 1 degree coming from the center of the circle.
Right.
Triangles because I don't. Is a circle, so the base is curved, so they're not triangles.
I don't get it. To be honest, I don't understand the question too well.
It's essentially.
I might not be visualizing it. I need to do a model. I'm not in the mood.
It's fine. So what he's talking about is doing a straight line from top to center, and then that's going to be your first line, and then you make a line that's 1 degree off from that. And that's your second line, and then you connect those 2 lines at the top. That gives you a triangle. How many of those can you go around in a whole circle? And it would be 360 because you only have that 1 degree of deviation.
Which is a nonsensical question because it proves nothing.
We're just how we're visualizing things. I'm asking Brummy this because I need to see how he visualizes things.
I'm picturing a clock right now. I'm picturing a clock, and you're saying basically, if let me finish, please. I'm picturing a clock, Lemon, and I'm picturing 12, half 12, and let's say, and that's the half of the triangle. You're saying every degree, and there's obviously got to be 360 from every second the hour hand moves. No, the minute hand, for example.
Kind of like that, yeah. 360. If we divided that into 360, I'm trying to think how many increments it would be in a clock.
Just do the hours. 12 hours. So you have a line from 12 to center, and you have a line from 1 to center, and then you connect those 2 lines. You're gonna have 12 triangles. Just do the hours.
To answer Brummy's question, the way he asked it, the way he's visualizing it, 1 minute on a clock is 6 degrees.
Okay. 1 minute on a clock for 6 degrees.
Right, yeah. Because you have 60 minutes, and then it's a 360.
360. Is that what you asked, Brummy?
Yeah, that's pretty much, that's more accurate. That's how I'd scale it, yeah, I guess. That'll do.
Now, how much is 1 second on a clock?
1 second would be.
You have to find out how many seconds. You have to divide the 6, isn't it? The 1 minute with 6.
There's no way to solve 360 divided by 6. It's impossible.
No, 1 second would also be 6 degrees.
Divided by 6 is 60. So it would be the minute. So 1/5 of that would be like 1/5 of a second. 1/5 of a second would give you 1 degree because you'd have to divide that by 5.
How about 1/6?
Yeah, how about doing
1/6.
the math right? 360 divided by 60 is
1/6.
impossible,
Sorry.
guys. Can't be done.
But now that we're on the same page, 1/6 of a second would give you 1 degree on a clock.
So what was that question for, Lemon? Anyway,
just to see how we're thinking about and visualizing it.
So Maya had my back to the wall.
Yeah,
My back to the wall about triangles.
It was kind of a weird question. I think what he was trying to do is just understand how your mind worked as far as visualizing, rather than trying to figure out the right answer. I think he was.
I mean, it would take me a bit of time to process some things that are a bit tricky, especially when you haven't got a diagram in front of you and you're trying to contextualize what someone's saying, as well as trying to picture some way to break it down. So I'm decent at multitasking, I guess. I can put some things together. I've got a decent IQ.
Yeah, I'm the same too. Like, if a question's asked to me in a certain way, I'll answer it in a different way depending on how it's asked. So part of it's the way the question's asked, visualizing it. It's just a general conversation at this point, just to talk.
But yeah, I've never seen a three-sided triangle.
So real quick on the clock, the second is 6 degrees, just like the minute.
Yes, because the second hand follows the minute.
That was already stated.
No, well, I mean, Lemon said 1/6 of a degree. They thought I was talking about like actual seconds.
He said 1/6 of a second.
There's 10 60s in a minute, right? So no, every 10 seconds will be 1 degree, right?
Wait,
and it'll be every 10 seconds will be 1 degree. Because you got 10, 1 degree times 10 will be 60 seconds, isn't it? So every minute will be 6 degrees.
Yeah, there's 6 10s. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Brilliant. But I mean, we can problem solve. We can figure things out. I say excellent. I've never seen a three-sided triangle, and I said that as a response to somebody that was trying to make me look asking me a stupid question. So I'll give him a more elaborate answer, because the fact is it's a bit deeper. You can look at it as a three-sided triangle if you want, but it has got. You can't show me a one-sided side. Hold on. You can't show me a one-sided side. Is my rebuttal to anyone that says it's a three-sided triangle.
You dominate the conversation for an hour talking about this stupid shit, and usually in the middle of a conversation it has nothing to do with it, which is kind of bizarre.
But you're supposed to keep me on track, bro. Like, you're the one who's got a problem with my never seen a three-sided triangle. Problem.
Brummy, I kind of want to take that challenge on. What if I lay a thin strip of tape against the wall? Could you tell me that there's more than one side to that tape?
No matter how thin it is,
without manipulating anything.
There's no such thing as a one-sided side. That's you can't have one-sided side.
No, what I'm saying is we're in the same room and I put tape against the wall.
Yeah.
And it's, let's just say 6 inches. Like, we can definitely see it.
Why 6 inches?
Could you put your life on it that it has more than one side without doing any manipulations?
Absolutely. There is no possible way you can have a one-sided side.
Just because we can't have a one-sided side, just say no automatically without thinking about it.
I haven't thought about it. That's intuitively what I'm going with, yeah.
Right, and that's fine. As long
See
as
how you can't have a three-sided triangle.
Because he's saying each side has multiple sides, like the front, back, and right.
Yeah, definition.
That's right.
So it's being complicated for the sake of complication.
If you draw a triangle,
the word is triangle.
Yeah, angle. Yeah, 3 angles, not 3
There's
sides.
6 angles.
It's not called a tri-side. It's not called a tri-side. It's called a triangle. It's not called a tri-side. It's called a triangle.
All right, explain a square then. Explain a square then. It's not a
hang
4
on a
angle.
minute. I did have a point to make. Hang on. If you draw a triangle and you you color it in, how is it not a three-sided triangle then?
Well, because you shaded it in, that's now a fourth side.
I don't think it is. I can't see how it can be.
Okay, if it's shaded in a block, right? You have a triangle.
Because it's only in you've only drawn it in 2 dimensions. It's only another side if you give it a third dimension.
Well,
There's nothing wrong
on my computer screen.
But shading gives it.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with saying a three-sided triangle, because then you're just saying there's not only is there 3 sides and there's 3 angles. There's 3 angles and 3 sides.
No, because triangle means 3 angles and then the sides.
But there's 6 angles.
And I've been talked over on the punchline again.
Well, I know your point.
There's more than 3
I
angles.
know your point. You don't need to repeat it. You put the 3 sides in the word, so you can say it's three-sided rather than four-sided.
But there are no three-sided triangles.
That's what I'm saying. And
There are no
Dr.
three-angle triangles.
Dr. Phil Cano has shown us a picture of a triangle saying one-sided sides. Because you can't show me a one-sided side.
But you can't show me a three-sided triangle, so triangle's wrong. You might as well just get rid of that word. Why not?
Triangle, three angles.
It's not three angles. It's six angles.
So how many edges does a triangle have?
Polygons are not defined in terms of sides.
How many
and
interior angles
they're
does a
defined in
triangle
edges
have?
and vertices.
It depends.
All two-dimensional polygons are edges and vertices.
Let's say this is semantical then, but I still have not seen a one-sided side in my life. So how you?
It's a statement that doesn't make any sense.
Well, you show me a one-sided side then?
If we're working,
Well,
in
again, that's not a statement that makes sense.
It's as Josh says it, or was about to say, and I've stopped him. If you're working in two dimensions, I think if it's shaded in, then it's a three-sided triangle. And I don't think the shaded in part gives you another side because it's.
How can you shade it in then?
Hang on.
Sorry.
Because it's at the same. It's on the same plane as the sides.
Okay, so let me answer it then, man.
Hang on. Let me just make it clear. So that means then you have to, on my shaded triangle, you've got to be able to show me where the side ends and the top begins.
Okay, Jem. If you were going to draw
that was to me, was it not? Can I get my fucking rebuttal in? Jem, the side that you shaded in.
Yeah.
You shaded in a side?
Yes.
So that's a side?
Well, it's not. It's not. Though, is it?
What you shaded in? What you shaded?
Oh, yeah, I said side. Oh, no. Brummy wins the internet. No. Don't be silly.
Imagine a triangle.
If you shade it. All right. If you shade in an area, okay, it's in the same plane as the sides. So if you're saying that's not the sides, where do the sides end? And my area, you're calling it a side, I'm calling it an area. Where does that begin and why?
Because I don't.
Yeah.
Go on, you take this.
Right, so, Jem, think of a triangular building block. 3D triangular building block, right? But you're going to draw it in 2D. How would you draw it?
But I'm not doing that. That isn't what I'm trying to do. I've already drawn. Listen, I've already drawn a two-dimensional triangle on a piece of paper and shaded it in. It isn't a representation of a three-dimensional triangle. It's just a two-dimensional triangle. So, but my question is, where do the sides end and the top, if you like, begin?
It would be what's that type of art called where it's like you make your own impressionist?
Abstract.
No, not abstract. I think
Random pedantic shit.
Dot eyes. It's like pointillism. So Monet is a form of expressionist painter.
So what we've done is we've succeeded in making the language more useless. Very good. Thank you.
So the problem I've got with the argument here is great. Okay, so I draw a triangle, 1, 2, 3 sides. I've enclosed an area. Can you tell me the height of the triangle that I've drawn? Now fuck off.
I mean, earlier I asked whichever, I think it was percent. I asked him what was the angles of a triangle, and he got all butthurt and was really upset that I would just ask him that question. But
it has sides 1, 1, and 1.
Well, let him finish. Go ahead, finish.
So what are the angles, percent?
Oh, okay. So you're gonna just lie. Number one, I didn't get butthurt.
About what?
Number two, if you were that person that asked me, I answered it correctly. Did I not? And number three,
He's always butthurt.
I don't know. Answer. Go ahead and answer it right now.
But it was easily thwarted.
Go ahead and answer it right now. A triangle. What are the angles? What's the sum of the angles?
No, hold up. Did I not answer it the first time when we were talking about like watches and stuff like that?
I don't remember.
Well,
if
then,
you
if
did
I
or not.
answer it again and you're gonna just forget and then ask me another week later, what's the point?
All right, fine. I mean, you're right. Okay, maybe
I
you
know I
did.
am.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, I stand corrected. Maybe you
I
did.
truly
That's fine.
believe the percentage knows the internal angles of an
I'm
equilateral.
sure.
I do too. Percent. What you should ask him is, are you talking about Euclidean triangles or spherical geometry triangles? That's what I would ask him.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to him. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
But percent, yeah, I hate to do this to you, but you are severely lacking in the math department, and you think that you're smart, but I hate to break it to you, but you're really not.
Who
Baked,
is
one
it?
of the
Who's he talking about? Who's he talking about?
Baked. What's the maximum?
Percent's actually quite intelligent. In my experience, percent's quite intelligent.
Yeah,
He looks at things.
percent's pretty intelligent.
Yeah, I don't think you can make that statement. Baked beans, man. Because like to be honest,
I'm gonna do it for
you
Baked.
don't really sound very intricate yourself, you know.
Exactly, that's what I told him. He won't answer a simple question.
No,
even with
Baked,
my
here's-
baked
Simple question.
beans,
Hold
even
on.
with my baked beans answer.
I know. We're all
Baked
calling. I
beans,
know. We're
man.
all calling
Like,
noises.
you
I
sound
know.
like a bit
why
like
don't you-
this, man.
why don't
Rummy,
you
you're
answer
not
me a couple
helping at
math
all,
questions?
man. You're pure
Sorry.
noise, dude.
Baked.
Bean,
What?
I
You want to
would
answer a
really
couple
like
math
him to-
questions or no?
No, Baked Bean. Wait 1 second. I would really like percentage
Guess
of
not.
money to address the question that I put to them, which you kind of rode over the top of a bit. Do you remember the question, guys? So great. I've drawn a triangle on a piece of paper. 1, 2, 3 sides enclosing an area. Yeah.
Where is it?
What? Oh, it's just on a piece of paper. What's its height?
What are the sides? 1, 2, and 3?
It's just an
I
equilateral
asked you
triangle.
what is the sum of the angles?
Baked, shut
of
the fuck
a
up. Hold on.
triangle?
Baked, you're not talking right now.
Please stop.
Yeah, baked.
Hey, who? I thought it
Okay,
was.
repeat the question.
Maybe
Shut up,
somebody
bitch.
muted me.
Shut up, you little bean.
Hold on.
Bean,
Maybe
this is
somebody
not
muted
to
me.
you.
I didn't mean.
Baked bean. Zip it.
Could you repeat the question? I heard 1, 2, and 3. So I don't know if those are the sides or
No.
what.
I draw a triangle. It's an equilateral triangle, 60-degree internal angles. And it's got 3 sides. Now, for me to have a 4th side, can you tell me the height of that triangle I've just drawn on that piece of paper?
For you to have 4th side of an equilateral triangle,
Mm-hmm.
you're
If
gonna turn this.
if you're saying there's a 4th side, there has to be a height differentiation, so I can judge the area I'm enclosing.
Yeah, it would be just like the other sides.
No. What's
The area would be different. The height would be the same.
How can you
'cause
have
it's
the height?
equilateral.
Yeah, but then there's no other side, then, is there?
Of course there is.
Just his
It's just,
phone.
it matches the
How?
it matches the longest side, and the sizes are all the same, so it's going to be the same height.
So for me to have that side, you need to give me the height of the triangle.
And I am. I'm telling you, it's the same as 1, 2, and 3. So the size is the same as 1, 2, 3.
Then
Or
it goes
is it
back
like
to
1,
my
2, and 3?
question: where does the side end and the top begin?
That's where I got the idea for the question from.
And why? And why does it? Well, you know, wherever you decide, I'm going to ask you why you've decided there.
Because that's where the margin is.
Okay, so why?
Because if there's a 4th side, it's no longer 2-dimensional. So it has to be where the margin is.
It is 2-dimensional. All I've said is that there's a filled-in area. I haven't called it a side. Well, I did mistakenly once, but if it's as Struss is saying, if it's all on the same plane, how do you distinguish between the side and the top?
Well, you answered your own question when you said it's filled in. How could it be filled in if there's nothing there?
Just putting in an area.
It's just
so if it's an area, that means it's a hole which has even more sides than one.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
I can enclose an area
Yep.
in 2 dimensions.
There's no single
then
one
it's a
side
lid.
anyway.
So you're
Hold on.
enclosing it with a lid, so that has 2 sides right there.
No.
No, that would make it 3 dimensions.
3 dimensions.
We're only in
If
2
you're enclosing
dimensions.
it, you're putting a lid on it.
So you're saying we can't work in 2 dimensions? So you think a drawing on a paper is 3 dimensions?
No, I'm saying that if you're adding a 4th side to a triangle, you're making it 3 dimensions.
No, then
Yeah.
we're good. Then we're good. Then we agree. If
It's
you're
still
saying
more
a
than 3
drawing on a
sides.
paper, if you're saying a drawing on a paper is 2-dimensional, then the surface that we look at is not a side, mate.
We can't even agree. Listen, this is pathetic. We can't even agree on the different terms of the sides. No one can show us one side, so they're trying to get some technical argument on a fucking 2D picture. And it's kind of getting tedious, guys. There is no such thing as a one-sided toe.
I think Brummy feels himself losing this argument.
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't, Joe.
Let's stop doing this now because we'll lose. I'm losing.
The little thin layer of pencil is three-dimensional.
That thin layer of pencil is a graphical representation of the triangle, though. It doesn't actually define the side of the triangle. Like when you talk about a side of a triangle, it is a zero thickness. It is a zero thickness, representation of a line segment between 2 points.
And
so if you point at it from the left or you point at it from the right, it doesn't matter because it has a zero thickness. There aren't sides of it.
There's even a simpler answer. Fuck you, I'll do it on my computer screen, you bitch.
Taylor's point's extremely valid. I can't believe that wasn't brought up yet.
Incredibly valid.
I'm trying not to interrupt.
Let me just address Sam Stone. You know what I find me funny? You say I laugh my head off while suggesting that space is fake. I think it possibly could be, not that it is. And I think that when you look at the scientists, they say we're all just complicated rocks, and she says that with a straight face. So I find that funny too. Do you remember that? We're all just complicated rocks at the end of the day. So
Who
some of the
said that?
scientists, some scientists experts said it about evolution and stuff. Complicated rocks.
I've never ever heard anybody say that.
Once you've got some.
But I think you meant.
Okay.
I think you're meant to find that a bit funny, though.
Absolutely.
I think it's a statement that's designed to be a little bit, a little bit flippant.
It's a woman from NASA who says this. It's a woman from NASA who actually says this, that we're all complicated rocks, and it is a bit like it is kind of like it's a way of expressing, but that you think you came from inanimate objects, and these atoms crashed and morphed into different sorts of variations, and the sunlight hit the created some mass and condensation, and all of a sudden we had these little microorganisms that just come out of nowhere. From rocks, basically. We are complicated rocks. That's what people say to you with a straight face. So sorry for me. Like, this woman is from NASA, and I've just said the link, and she's the one who says it. It comes from her mouth. That's her description of evolution.
Oh,
no. None of us actually.
We're all complicated rocks.
See how that's
Bromy, none of us actually. Go ahead.
Well, none of us all believe what the flat earthers or the crazy flat earthers say as well. So you try to pin every single flat earth. Thank you for interrupting me. Thank you.
Brummy, can you finish your point and let somebody respond to it before you go on to make another fucking red herring nonsensical statement?
Yeah, she says we're complicated rocks, and I find that funny as well, Stone.
Somebody was responding to you, Brummy, and you decided you needed to interrupt it.
I didn't know. Who is it talking? I need to unmute them. I didn't hear nobody. Who's talking?
Yeah, you did.
Who's talking then? Because I don't know. I must have it muted.
It was Stoned before me, but I think I cut him off.
I can't hear him.
I can't hear Stone then.
Yeah, I didn't say anything.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Stone said something in the chat saying Brummy laughs his head off while suggesting that space is fake. And I said, well, there's some experts out there that claim that we're complicated rocks, and they say it with a straight face. I find that more funny.
All right, I'm going to ask you because that's the fourth time you said that, so I'm going to respond to you. Do you not think that she was just trying to make a sensational statement while talking to someone to keep it basic? Or do you think that when she writes her papers in biology that she puts, we are complicated rocks and here's my theorem about that? Or do you think she's just saying something in an interview? What do you think is more reasonable?
I think it's more reasonable to believe that she actually, we do come from rocks at the end of the day. That's that. Yeah, I think that's what she means.
If you want to believe that, that's fine.
Well, you show me her papers and show me because she's put a little paper in. It's still coming up with the simple facts. No, thank you for interrupting them, Stone. It was perfect timing. Doesn't matter. She thinks she come from inanimate objects. That's what you guys believe. That's the truth.
But why do you think that? She didn't say that, so why do you think that?
She absolutely said we are complicated rocks at the end of the day.
Does that mean that she said we come from rocks?
Basically, we are
trying to make something.
Now, Brummy, aren't you a huge champion of trying to understand what somebody's trying to say?
I'm
what
pretty
they
good at
mean,
it, yeah.
Rather than trying to focus on, they're wrong.
Apparently not.
It's a different way I can interpret what she said, which could be that
there's a number of ways.
Okay,
now, do it
I'm going to give you my second option that I think what she's trying to say, which would be that the body is made up of lots of dead things which make us alive. So, in a way, we're all made up of dead things, which we would assume is like an animate object, such as a rock, which is, in a complicated form of dead things, which makes us alive, which is kind of what that is another way of verbalizing what she says.
I have a simple question. Have you ever heard someone says that men think with their dicks?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay, the people
doing
that
that
say
right now.
Hold on, the people that say that, do you think that they really, truly believe that there is a brain inside of men's dicks making decisions for them? Do you
thanks for insulting. Thanks, thinking with your dick or thinking with your dick. Well, I actually think a hard dick has no conscience.